It's almost Valentine's Day. Candy lasts only a few days. Flowers last maybe a week. Get your Valentine's the gift that lasts for now and forever from Rogers & Hollins or Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers have tons of Valentine's gifts for under $199. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak combine unique custom abilities of independent jewelers with the buying strength of large jewelers, offering shoppers selection, customization, and quality at fabulous prices. Find a store near you or visit rogersandhollins.com.
From various locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the 40th anniversary season of the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer, Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Boy, if you can't get excited about the racing season about to start, what's wrong with you? We're racing at Daytona today. We're getting ready to race a week from tonight at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. If that doesn't make you excited, what does? Hello there. Todd Bailing in Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three cheesehead partners, beginning with Brian Schmidt up in Utzberg, Wisconsin. Hey, Brian.
Yes, racing is wide open. I mean, Speed Weeks is underway on the dirt side of stuff down in Florida and Georgia, and the 24 hours of Daytona has been going on. We got about 2 hours and 40 minutes left in this deal, so good race so far.
And, of course, PJ Noodleman out on the great Mississippi River in Trempealeau, Wisconsin. Hi, PJ.
Hey there. Good morning.
And
happy to be here.
And, of course, my longest tenured partner, Dan Margetta of St. Francis, USA. Hey, Dano.
Hey, good morning. I didn't make the whole 24 hours just like I wanted to do this year. I fell asleep. I tried. I had the phone out of my phone, and I fell asleep.
Are you getting old? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's what it was. I made it about 2 o'clock in the morning. So
That's still impressive.
Yeah.
It's still a darn good race, though. I mean, it looks like it's going to come down to the Penske cars, and the 31 Whelen car looks like it's going to fight this out. That 40 Wayne Taylor car really made a comeback because he was way down on night, and he's back to like fourth.
3 different manufacturers. You got Porsche, Cadillac, and Acura running 1, 2, and 3. That's exactly what IMSA's looking for.
It's being shown live right now. Not that we're encouraging you to turn off the radio and turn on TV, but if you're like me, you have the TV on with no sound. It's on USA Network right now, in case with 2.5 hours left of this thing. All right, try to fill us in for those of us who have not been watching it and are want to catch up for the last 2 hours. What can you tell me?
Well, there's still 5 cars on the lead lap in the GTP class, which is pretty impressive for a race that's gone, almost 21 and a half hours long right now. So you got 5 cars left on the lead lap in the GTP class. The LMP2 class, which is the second level, they have 5 cars on the lead lap there also. GT Pro only has 1 car on the lead lap. That's the GT cars that you see there. So it's been a pretty impressive race. I stayed up till about 11:45 last night. That's when I quit watching it, Dan. And overnight, that's when the Ganassi car fell out, correct?
Yeah, and I didn't see that's where I missed. That's where I fell asleep. And when I was up around 2 a.m., it was like in second place. And then also I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, and he was out of the race. So I don't know what happened to him, if he had mechanical problems. But usually this race has a lot of changing weather and stuff. And they keep talking about rain coming, and it never really came. It sprinkled a little bit, but it hasn't been what they expected it to be. And it seems so far the nighttime wasn't as treacherous as it's been in the past. Usually overnight a whole bunch of stuff happens, and you got to make it to sunrise. And it seemed pretty even keel out this year so far.
And 59 cars started the race, and only 15 have fallen out so far. So goes to show the endurance of the cars these days in the IMSA series. It's pretty incredible. Still 43 cars running almost 22 hours into this thing.
It amazes me how Dan Margetta can survive without sleep like this, and has for so many years. Speaking of working without sleep, Jim Trado has been the announcer for this thing for about 25 years, and he's up all night announcing this thing too. So there are some pretty dedicated racing folks out there.
Think about the crew guys there. I mean, drivers get to change, they get to go take a naps and stuff, but that pit crew, that's the same pit crew for the entire race. And these cars I think they pit, every 50 minutes, I believe? I don't think they can go a full hour, so you're just taking cat naps here, the whole time. And this race didn't start until about 2 o'clock local time there, so I'm sure they were up yesterday morning, so you're looking at a 28 to 30 hour day before they're able to put their head on the pillow again. That's all. That
sounds like a commercial for 5-hour energy, Oh, that's what they had to call the damn race, The racing season, of course, as I mentioned, is about to get underway again. It's beginning with this NASCAR. This Daytona event. It's IMSA series. They race all over the place, including, Brian, I assume, at Elkhart Lake.
Yep, first weekend in August they'll be back here.
Okay. So as much as is getting ready to happen, racing next week, of course, we're going to get our final week out of the way of the off season. I guess that means that it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Well, we're going to have Dave First on with us after the break. Dave is the communications director for the IndyCar series, and as you know, Indy cars are racing at the Milwaukee Mile this summer. Now, I'll be the first to tell you I don't know very much anything about IndyCar racing, but thank goodness this is why I have Dan Margetta and Brian Schmidt here to kind of guide me through this, because this is going to be quite a big deal. Brian, you did say they're racing 3 times in the state of Wisconsin? I can think of 2. Where's the third one?
Well, it's a doubleheader at Milwaukee. So there's three points-paying races in the state of Wisconsin this year, which is, I mean, they always say, Indianapolis is the IndyCar capital of the world, and they have 2. They have the Indy 500 and they have their road race. I don't believe that road race, Dan. That road race ain't happening during NASCAR weekend anymore, correct? Because they're going back on the oval. So
right, correct.
That leaves the state of Wisconsin with the only state that has 3 IndyCar races here, which is pretty cool to have. So it's kind of a big deal around here, and the fans at Road America support IndyCar like you wouldn't believe. It's some of the biggest crowds you'll ever see there, and we're hoping for the same thing at the Milwaukee Mile this August.
When you talk to Dave First, it seems to me that when they had that doubleheader weekend, you remember that they ran 2 races in COVID year at the same weekend, and I think that was Roger Penske's idea.
At Road America, yes.
And so that was it. Now that was at Pocono when they ran that weekend, 2 NASCAR races over the weekend there. I wonder if this, since Mr. Penske has had such a great idea, he brought it over to the Milwaukee race. Interesting. So that's all things we're going to learn about when we talk to Dave First. This has been the week of the Barrett Jackson auction out here in Arizona. It's really a showcase of what a brilliant announcer and Mike Joy is. That guy, he knows so much about cars, it's enough to blow you away. Their entire staff have been doing a pretty good job. If you don't get the FYI network, you may not have seen Barrett Jackson this week. That's going on. It's been a thing all week long. Matter of fact, they sold President Trump's car, a Lamborghini, yesterday for $1 million. They had it there. It was petty blue. Isn't that interesting? Probably just a coincidence. So there's that. Plus, there are other things going on in the world of NASCAR that we'll be able to talk about during the course of the program. I spoke to Matt Kenseth this morning in a phone call briefly. He was explaining, when I saw the note, Trevor Bayne has been hired as a competition advisor by Legacy Motorsports, which is the outfit that Matt Kenseth was hired to be a competition advisor at. And I thought, how are we going to use Trevor Bayne? And Matt was nice enough to kind of explain it to me. Well, first of all, he's going to head up the driver optimization program. What the hell is that? Basically is what I asked Matt. And, of course, he told me if they had such a thing when he was racing, he would have won twice as many races, because what they do is they go through the computer breakdowns and they talk about the track and what they talk about, what about going fast and turning left? Don't you have to be able to do that too? Well, this supposedly is a real nice complement to that sort of thing. You have to know the track and about with a car. And
was it Josh Wise that did the same thing for the Chevy drivers, and they kind of based it off of that, and now they're doing it for Toyota?
There you go. And Matt also said that he thinks that Trevor Bayne is going to do a great job at it, too. Well, I guess you got to know what it is, and it's the way of the 21st century. It's getting away from me. We'll be back with Dave First from IndyCars right after this.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This Sunday, if the Kansas City Chiefs are going to repeat as Super Bowl champions. No good! Touchdown Ravens! Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens stand in their way. The AFC Championship game.
Day in, day out, every time I'm on that field, I'm trying to play to the best of my ability.
We've won pretty much every way you can win in this league.
It's you versus everybody in the stadium.
Kickoff at 2 p.m. on 97.3 The Game.
Welcome back to LTN. Nice to have you. We talk about NASCAR. We talk about pretty much anything that races in the state of Wisconsin. And I'll be darned, but our beloved Milwaukee Mile is going to have not one but two IndyCar races coming up this summer. And the communications director for the IndyCar Series, Dave First, is joining us. The multi-Emmy award-winning television guy from Indianapolis. Hi, Dave.
Hey, good morning. I'm sorry the Packers aren't playing today. Are we okay in the state of Wisconsin? I'm worried about you guys.
You know, we were starting off on the right foot, and now right away we're getting into that. So we're still a little shell shocked around here. So you'll have to give.
I'm not.
I'm
not, Dave. I'm not a Packer fan. I live on the other side of the state, so I'm more of a Viking fan. So I'm familiar with letdown for sure.
And Dan Margetta, although I would say he roots for pretty much anybody, has always been a 49er fan, just basically to get under the skin of Packer fans. So Dan, he's got that on his resume too.
I'm assuming
Dave,
if you're yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm assuming you'd rather be a Vikings fan than a Bears fan, so I understand that.
That is correct, especially after living in Illinois for a while, for sure. But back to you, Dave, what you're about. You are a phenomenal storyteller. I know you were at Channel 6 Sports out of Indianapolis for like over 20 years, 25 Emmy Awards for the work that you've done, including one story with Tony Kanaan. And now here you are, the communications director of IndyCar. So when you were a youngster, what was your first exposure to racing?
Oh, gosh. I'd have to go back to, I would say, and I'm a little long in the tooth, so bear with me on this. So probably mid-70s or so, I would go with my dad to a little track in Hobstadt, Indiana. called Tri-State Speedway.
Yes.
Yeah. And we would go there on the weekends, and that really kind of was my first introduction into racing. Old USAC, dirt sprints, that sort of thing, and would see some of the legends there.
It's almost Valentine's Day. Candy lasts only a few days. Flowers last maybe a week. Get your Valentine's the gift that lasts for now and forever from Rogers & Hollins or Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers have tons of Valentine's gifts for under $199. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak combine unique custom abilities of independent jewelers with the buying strength of large jewelers, offering shoppers selection, customization, and quality at fabulous prices. Find a store near you or visit rogersandhollins.com.
The late great Robin Miller and I, we would kid that Robin, a longtime journalist, he raced as well, and he wasn't very good. He would be the first to tell you that. And I was kidding him. I said, "I'm pretty sure I saw you race at Hobstadt," and he was telling me, "Kid, you saw me crash a lot," but other than that, but God bless Robin. So that was my introduction into it, and then 1979. My family rented an RV, and we went up to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to watch the 500 that year. And I was still new, and I was sunburnt. We stayed on the north, a parking lot called the North 40. We camped there overnight. I'm 9 years old. I'm seeing and hearing things in this campground that probably 9-year-olds should never, ever have to see or hear. But anyway. It was an introduction into life, not only racing, but that race day, we sat amongst a group. They all had white T-shirts on, and they all said Mears Gang on the shirt. And you guys may remember these shirts. But that was my first introduction into who Rick Mears was. Turns out Rick won the race, became a legend of the Speedway and a legend of oval racing and the old card days, for that matter. And so that was my first introduction. I fell in love with the sport and rarely missed a 500 growing up through college and out of college, and never thought I would have an opportunity when I got into television and to work for IndyCar full time. And it's been a great experience. Blessed that Roger Penske and Penske Entertainment offered me this position, and it's really been great to talk about IndyCar on this level, for sure.
Well, Wisconsin race fans really owe a lot to Roger Penske for helping to breathe new life and opportunities into our beloved Milwaukee Mile that's been kind of teetering on the edge of destruction. So talk a little bit about that decision with Roger to come back to the Milwaukee Mile and give it more life.
Well, Roger is nothing but, if not a historian of the sport, right? And a guy that has won 19 Indy 500s would certainly be that. But he's been around. He's seen the great days of the Milwaukee Mile, and you look at all the legends that have won at that facility. I mean, Milwaukee, as you guys know, I mean, it started hosting racing before the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we kind of think of IMS as kind of the gold standard of IndyCar racing. But I mean, you go back to the early 1900s when racing started there at Milwaukee, and so when an opportunity like this came up for Roger, I think there's no way he could say no. And most of that is, through funding. You talk about Milwaukee and the way it looks now, perhaps more than it did 9 years ago when IndyCar was there. It's really thanks in large part to the state funding through the Wisconsin State Fair Park. And the partners there, I mean, already more than $3 million in improvements have been made to the Milwaukee Mile. Several $1 million more in track enhancements, I think, are in the works between now and the time we're racing there, Labor Day weekend. So, I mean, there's a significant investment in the infrastructure at the mile, and it has gotten us really all excited about. I mean, the drivers, we had something called Content Days a couple of weeks ago, and that's when all the drivers over the course of a couple of days come through, and they tape messages, and they tape promos, and they tape all the video that NBC will use in promos and that sort of thing. And the question inevitably comes up to the drivers: what are they looking forward to in 2024? And without question, each and every one of them says, I can't wait to get to the Milwaukee Mile. And Most of our guys, unfortunately, it's been 9 years since IndyCar's been at the mile. So a lot of the drivers have yet to go there, but they've heard great things. They've seen the video. They see how great the racing is there, and they all can't wait. They're chomping at the bit, no question, to get to the mile late in the season.
I think it is that history that is something that's kind of gravitating everybody to the love of the track, really.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you go back, yes, Scott Dixon is one there, Will Power is one there, yes. But anytime you can work in legendary names like Roger Ward, Parnelli Jones, A.J. Foyt, the Andrettis, Bobby Unser, Mears, certainly talked about Rick, Lone Star JR, Johnny Rutherford, all those guys have won at the mile. And for an opportunity to come up, not just once, but twice. Remember, it's a doubleheader of Labor Day weekend at the mile. To have a chance to add their names to that list of historic champions at the mile, it's going to be something special, I think.
We're talking with Dave First. He's the communications director for the IndyCar Series. Dave, can you hang on through a break? We'd love to talk to you some more.
As long as we're not talking about Packers, that's fine. I'm good.
And here I was really starting to like this guy. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Milwaukee's home for the Badgers.
Chucky down the lane to the rim, runs it up and in. Hepburn, the steal, and the bucket. Rotates to Connor, open three, right side money. Here comes A.J. Stewart. Take off underway, down the lane. Slam dunk. Max another three. Got it! And one! Max Klesman continues with the hot hand.
97.3 The Game.
It's just not every day that we have IndyCar big shots on with us on Let's Talk NASCAR. But I got to tell you, it's pretty cool to have Dave First, who has been a all sports kind of a guy and has migrated to racing and specifically the IndyCar series. And it's pretty great to have a media guy that close by. Dave, like you were saying, the history of the Milwaukee Mile is pretty incredible. USAC stock cars raced here for years. That's what I kind of gravitated to as a kid, going out there all the time with my mom and dad, and then later with my drinking buddies. But great times and always wonderful memories of that track. It couldn't have been much different for Roger Penske, really.
Well, I would agree. I mean, he certainly had a lot of success at the mile, and so a bit of nostalgia. We talked about when an opportunity came to do this again, and a large shout out to the folks at the Wisconsin State Fair Park because IndyCar, and before I got in IndyCar a couple of years ago, as a broadcaster and as a fan. It's very easy to get nostalgic about the mile, and everybody wants to go back to the mile. But this couldn't have happened without a partner like the Wisconsin State Fair. I mean, securing a trusted race promoter is important. And there's been other attempts to bring IndyCar and other racing, I guess, for that matter, back to the mile, and it just hasn't worked. You got to have the right partner. And without, getting to meet the folks at the State Fair Park and the board there, that's really the gel that made this thing work when we announced it a couple months ago.
Dave, talk about a little bit of how the weekend's going to go. We were really surprised when we found out it was going to be a doubleheader, and we kind of have a little bit of experience with a doubleheader. We did it during the COVID year up at Road America. But, how is the weekend going to go? What are the fans going to expect when they come? They're going to see two complete, 200 or 250 lap races, or how's that whole thing going to work?
Yeah, it's going to be two 250s, and it really comes in a crucial part of the NTT IndyCar Series schedule. It's a 17-race schedule this year, plus a kind of an all-star made-for-TV event at the Thermal Club, which comes up. It's a $1 million event, $1 million to win, and that's in late March. But it's a crucial part. It's a 17-race schedule. Milwaukee, the two doubleheaders, or the two races at Milwaukee, are the 15th and 16th races of the season. So it's going to play a large factor, and it should anyway, to who wins the 2024 NTT IndyCar Series championship. We'll be at another one of the exciting things about the 2024 schedule is for the first time we're wrapping up the season on the streets of Nashville. That comes up 2 weeks after Milwaukee. And so I don't know if you've seen the layout at Nashville, but the series literally will be racing up Broadway on a brand new layout. It's going to be exciting. We go over a bridge a couple times. It's a really cool layout. Sometimes it's a bit unpredictable in what happens in Nashville, but it should be great to wrap up the schedule. But specifically getting back to Milwaukee, it's a 3-day weekend. We're going to have practice qualifying on Friday, Saturday, 250, and we'll come back, and it's going to be late in the afternoon, by the way, Saturday afternoon, Labor Day weekend, and then we come back on Sunday for more of a midday race there. And so it's going to be a full weekend. Tickets are already available. If you go to wisstatefair.com, WIS statefair.com, you'll be able to purchase a full weekend pass, 3-day pass, or also tickets are available for Saturday and Sunday reserve and general admission as well. So it's going to be robust for sure, and not to mention that it will also include the Indy Next by Firestone Series. And Indy Lights used to race at the Milwaukee Mile for years and years and years, and so it's a great opportunity to bring Indy Next. This is the developmental series. Champions move on to the NTT IndyCar Series after that. Case in point, we got a couple in Linus Lundqvist, who won the championship a couple of years ago. Christian Rasmussen won the championship last year. Both of those guys now are in the NTT IndyCar Series. So plenty of action, no doubt, at the Milwaukee Mile Labor Day weekend.
And how blessed we are in the state of Wisconsin to have 3 points-paying races up here. I mean, the Wisconsin fans have always been IndyCar supporters through the years, and no doubt that went into a lot of the decision to bring a doubleheader back up here, along with the Road America race that we have in June.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys were at Road America last year. Obviously,
yep,
the fans were outstanding when they but I believe, at least what I heard, is at the campgrounds. It was some of the highest camping that they've had in a long, long time at Road America. And so it's just a different atmosphere, and that's the beauty, I think, of the NTT IndyCar Series, is you have to really be really good on the ovals, you got to be really good on street courses, and you got to be really good at road courses. And each, if you have an opportunity to go to each type of event, I highly suggest, because it's a completely different atmosphere. The atmosphere at the Milwaukee Mile is going to be completely different than going to Detroit, the streets of Detroit or streets of Nashville, versus going to a Road America or another, road course where it's more of a campground sort of atmosphere, and that's fun too. Or go to Mid-Ohio July 4th weekend, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, Road America, it's obviously a very special and cherished event on the NTT IndyCar Series schedule, and we can't wait to get back there this year as well.
I noticed that the series has kind of really grown a lot over the last couple of years, and it's actually pretty strong now. A lot of it, I think, has to do with what the drivers have got in that series and their personalities. I know the races I've been to the last couple of years, I remember thinking, geez, some of these, NASCAR fans can come meet these IndyCar guys. There are a lot of cool stories here and stuff. And they really embrace it, like McLaughlin and Newgarden do that Bus Brothers podcast and go out and meet with the fans and stuff. I mean, you got a pretty good, strong field of drivers to help bring this event up here, too.
Well, and that's when I put on my broadcaster hat, my old broadcaster hat, and realized that the personalities, I realize I'm saying that now as an employee of IndyCar, but I think the personalities that the drivers have in IndyCar are second to none, and they're always engaging. There'll be an autograph section, obviously, at Milwaukee Mile, just like there will be at Road America, and those are always popular, and the drivers are always very engaging, very approachable. But to your point, I mean, the racing is really good right now. We've got 27 starters full-time.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It's almost Valentine's Day. Candy lasts only a few days. Flowers last maybe a week. Get your Valentine's the gift that lasts for now and forever from Rogers & Hollins or Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers have tons of Valentine's gifts for under $199. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak combine unique custom abilities of independent jewelers with the buying strength of large jewelers, offering shoppers selection, customization, and quality at fabulous prices. Find a store near you or visit rogersandhollins.com.
In the series, and that is a record. IndyCar Series has never had that many full-time starters. Yes, there's 33 at Indy, but there's always 4 or 5 that are not full-time. Well, these are all 27 full-time starters. So that's that I think is an indicative point of how healthy the paddock is, or how healthy the sport is that more and more teams are interested in being a part of this thing. And to your point, the on-track passing is something we kind of hang our hat on lately. There was about 7,700 on-track passes last season, and we set on-track passing records at 6 different racetracks, from Laguna Seca, Portland, Worldwide Technology Raceway down in St. Louis, Iowa Speedway, Road America. We had on-track passing records last year. Streets of Long Beach as well. So, it's not just you show up and be a part of an event. But the on-track action is unbelievable.
Dave First is the communications director for the IndyCar Series. They're getting ready to get their season underway and come back to Milwaukee and be racing at Road America. It's going to be a fun year. Dave, when we get closer to the dates, we'd like to have you back on and possibly talk about how things are going.
Would love to do that. Can't wait. You guys have a great spring.
Right.
We'll see you soon enough.
All right, and keep rooting for the Indianapolis Colts. See where that gets you. We'll be back right after these messages.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
One team is a playoff staple.
George Kittle's got it.
When in doubt, throw it to George Kittle. Led by a quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, taken dead last.
San Francisco.
The other is the only NFC team to never reach a Super Bowl.
Jared looks, Jared throws, caught! Jared Goff with the delivery!
This Sunday, the NFC Championship goes down at Levi's Stadium.
We gonna show them who the real Lions are!
Beginning at 5:30 on 97.3 The Game.
Welcome back to LTN. I don't know how many of you watch the Kenny Wallace Show. If you are on social media, Kenny has his own program. It's a YouTube show, but it's posted on other social medias other than YouTube. I don't even know if you can call YouTube a social media, can you? I don't think so. But I watched the more recent episode, one of the more recent episodes. He comes on kind of irregularly, starts with a cup of coffee. But he had Kyle Larson on there, and people are still talking about what Kyle Larson said about the salaries of NASCAR drivers. He says these days, top dirt guys make more money than many NASCAR drivers. Ooh, isn't that an interesting set of circumstances? I doubt that they're making more than Kyle Larson is. But if you'll remember, now back in the year 2020, when Kyle Larson kind of got back-burnered for a while because of insensitivity on his part while playing a video game. I'm still trying to figure what that's about. But either way, Matt Kenseth came back and was driving the 42 car for a while, which was the car that Kyle Larson was relieved from. And, of course, this was right at the end, pretty much at the end of the old school thought of what NASCAR drivers got paid. Now, you guys can weigh in on this, but, I remember reading somewhere, and I don't know this for a fact, but I read it somewhere that Matt Kenseth was making let's just say 8 figures a year driving a cup car. And the new guys coming in were making somewhere from 2 to 500,000 instead of paying these guys, 8 figures. But that was always just a part of the deal, right? I just can't believe that they're not making any more than that. I think they are, though, aren't they?
Well, a lot of this has to do with the merchandising side of it, and that's where the money comes in on the dirt track guys. These dirt track guys, and the year Kyle Larson, I mean, we remember it. We were at Plymouth. The year Kyle Larson was on suspension and ran a sprint car, you had to wait in line to get some of his merchandise at Plymouth that night. I mean, that stuff was flying out of the trailer faster than you can ever imagine. Now, when you go over to the NASCAR side of things, it's not the same way. I mean, I pulled up an article here that Jeff Gluck did from back in 2017, and it talked about the issue with the merchandising stuff. And it said one unnamed driver, this is back in 2016 now, so this is older news. He once sold $2 million worth of merchandise in a season, but only received $20,000 of it for his own pocket. So with the Fanatics contract that NASCAR has, the drivers don't have as much control over his merchandise as they do on the dirt side of stuff, where you can just go ahead and make your stuff. I mean, the reason the number one rocket car on the dirt late model side of things has had different drivers over the years is because Mark Richards owns it. The drivers, which once was his son, his son's wife said, hey, we can make more money driving for somebody else and getting all of our merchandise to ourselves, which he left. Brandon Shepard hopped in that car for many years. Same thing happened with him. After so many years in there, Brandon Shepard's like, if I go out on my own and race on my own team and I get all of the T-shirt money and merchandise sales money, I'll be making more, which is what he's gone on and done now, because, Richards, his car is kind of copyrighted to him, which should be, because that's been the same car for 30 years.
It's
so
amazing to me, Brian.
It's
amazing that the guys don't even have a right to their own name, basically, if it's attached to a cup car.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, way back when, I mean, Dale Earnhardt Sr., that's where a lot of his money was made back in the 90s. I mean, that trailer, I remember going to races, and the Black 3 trailer had so many people there, and he sold so much stuff. I mean, he sold stuff probably 10 years after he passed away. He was constantly still selling stuff. But once... And I don't remember when this happened, when NASCAR signed on with Fanatics and basically did the same thing as all the stick and ball sports do, where you just have one person doing all of it. But that kind of changed the whole dynamic of merchandise, and that's been a big thing that I've always been a part of is merchandising stuff. And I remember going to Michigan years ago, and you'd go across the street, and there was so much merchandise for sale there. Sure. You could buy all kinds of stuff, you know. And now it's changed where it's kind of regulated, and I think it's really hurt. Especially, it's hurt the drivers' money and their way to make it, you know.
And they used to have different trailers. Everybody had their own trailer. Right now, it's kind of under one big tent. Is that how that works now?
Well, it was, and then they went back to the trailer thing. But it's still the same thing. You have the trailers, but it's only one manufacturer making it all. It's all through Fanatics, and you can go to the Fanatics website and you go to NASCAR.com. It's not done by each individual driver. Like, there is no place to go on the internet and buy every World of Outlaw sprint car driver's name, you know, stuff. Each person does their own stuff. They can do their own designs. They can do their own type of merchandise. You know, I mean, on the dirt late metal side of things, a couple years ago, guys were making mini door panels, you know. Doesn't take much to make it. You put some vinyl on there, but people are selling them. You know, NASCAR really regulates what type of merchandise you can produce, and that's why the drivers aren't making money on that side of it.
Jeez.
And that's where the money is on
machine, baby.
I mean, the money on the dirt side of it. I mean, if you sign a deal with the World of Outlaw sprint cars and become a platinum driver, which Bill Bailow is going to be this year, that allows you the right to have your trailer with all the other guys in line there and gives you exclusive rights to sell your merchandise on the scene there. If you aren't one of those platinum drivers, you're a little bit more limited as where you can sell your stuff. And that's where these guys, when you sign on to a series, that's where you make your money. I mean, you know, Jonathan Davenport and Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton have made big money winning races too, but the money is in the merchandising side of it on the dirt stuff, and that's, I think, where Kyle Larson is getting to how you're able to make so much.
You think they're kind of where NASCAR was years ago, and then NASCAR got super popular, and it kind of look where it ended up? I mean, the dirt guys kind of got to be careful not to end up that way too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you gotta leave it a free market type thing, you know, and let the guys have their own creativity. And once a series grabs hold of it and controls what you're able to do, you know, and that's why I'm a little leery with the high limits thing, doing the charter thing that they're talking about and all that kind of stuff. You know, be careful how you go with that and how much restrictions you do, because especially in dirt racing, if guys can just go and run somewhere else, then you're going to lose out on that. You know, you gotta let the free market flow, I think.
Isn't that just amazing? NASCAR watched how much money the drivers were making on that, and NASCAR said, you know, they're driving our sports cars. We have to get something for our sport, and these drivers can't be making that much money. Yeah. And so NASCAR makes it now. Unbelievable. We'll be back with some results after these.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The Milwaukee Admirals have won 10 straight games, 10-0 in calendar year 2024. They'll try to make it 11 Tuesday when they host San Diego. Far corner, then it's knocked away to the left point. Wilsby with a shot. Scored! Pre-game at 6, face-off 6:30 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Every year it seems Speed Week starts a little earlier, and that is the case again this year as Speed Weeks is in full swing down in Florida. and Arizona. We'll start west first Thursday night, Casa Grande, Arizona, the Central Arizona Speedway. Week number 2 of the Ernie Mincy Early Thaw Series. 2,000 to win for the super late models, and Tyler Peterson of Wissota Modified fame hopped into the late model and picked up the feature win out there. In the IMCA Modifieds, Chaz Baca was your winner, and the stock cars went to Bo Partain. We head to Florida Thursday, Barberville, Florida, for Volusia Speedway Park, the USCS 360 Sprint Cars, the germ-free Southern Sprint Car Shootout. Night number 1, Sam Hapertief Jr. picked up the win.
Free?
Yeah. I don't know what germ-free is. I guess we'll have to look that one up. Tampa, Florida, the final year of East Bay Raceway Park for the Crate Racing USA 604 Crate late models. 91 late models showed up for that. They divide them into 4 features, and your feature winners were Kyle Hardy, Ashton Winger, Tucker Anderson, and Drew Kennedy. Brunswick, Georgia, Golden Isle Speedway, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series season opener, their Super Bowl of racing, $10,000 to win, and Hudson O'Neill, your defending champion in the Rocket 1 car, picked up the feature win on Thursday night. Friday night, it rained at Golden Isle, so we did not have round 2 for the Lucas Oil Series. It doesn't rain in Arizona, and they raced out there for night number 2 of the early thaw. $2,500 to win in the super late models. Ricky Weiss got the win. Modifieds went to Ricky Alvarado, and the stock cars went to Kenny Schrader. Todd, I can't believe you weren't out there to see him race.
I was at Barrett Jackson, and I'll tell you something. I know they had 2 heats, so there weren't a hell of a lot of cars. Doesn't matter. Schrader's winning races at 68 years old. You got to love it.
Yes, you do. So he picked up the win in the stock cars on Friday night out there. Barberville, Florida, night number 2 of the USCS 360 Sprints. Austin McCarl was your winner. And night number 2 at Tampa, Florida for the 604 Crates. Preliminary feature winners again, Tucker Anderson, Mario Gresham, Kyle Hardy, and Ashton Winger. Last night, the final night of the early thaw at Casa Grande, $3,000 to win the super late models. Dustin Bloom was your winner. The modifieds went to Troy Moyers III, and the stock cars went to Brock Beater. The final night at Volusia for the 360 Sprints, $10,000 to win, and Ryan Timms of USAC fame hopped in a wing sprint car and picked up the $10,000 prize there. Tampa, Florida, East Bay Raceway Park, the final night of the Crate Racing USA. They divided them all down into the final 24. They ran for $5,000 to win, and Kyle Hardy grabbed the 604 Crate feature win there. And finally, in Brunswick, Georgia, Golden Isles Speedway for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, $25,000 to win last night. And when there's money on the line in the Lucas Oil Series, Ricky Thornton Jr. is usually there, and he did exactly that last night, picking up the win, although there was a lot of controversy over his win there last night. If you get a chance, hop on Flow or Dirt on Dirt and check out what happened there last night. The track locked down. Ricky Thornton got his elbows out a little bit and used and kind of moved some people out of the way, those being Jonathan Davenport and Mikey Marler, and really ruffled a lot of feathers, but he picked up the money.
You didn't see the victory lane, when they did the photo?
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It's almost Valentine's Day. Candy lasts only a few days. Flowers last maybe a week. Get your Valentine's the gift that lasts for now and forever from Rogers & Hollins or Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers have tons of Valentine's gifts for under $199. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak combine unique custom abilities of independent jewelers with the buying strength of large jewelers, offering shoppers selection, customization, and quality at fabulous prices. Find a store near you or visit rogersandhollins.com.
Yes. Yep.
Davenport came in there, he finished 30, came in there, and he kind of used his elbow and gave Thornton a little bit of a shove, too. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. Now, these guys have today off, they have tomorrow off, and they go to Ocala on Tuesday and Wednesday for a couple Lucas Oil shows, and then Friday and Saturday they'll be at the big half mile at Alltech Raceway. So we'll see how the tempers go when they get over to Ocala. It should be good viewing on the late model side going forward.
And on the pavement side, no races really. We had that Watermelon Capital Speedway last weekend, but new owners at that track. Some people call it Cordell. Some people say Cordeal. Depends on which side of the Mason-Dixon line you're on. But they sold the track. The new owners are now the parents of Jet Noland. That's, I think, Nancy and Greg Nolan. I'm not sure. Anyway, they bought the track, and they've named Ricky Brooks as the general manager, which is interesting because Ricky's got a lot on his plate already, And he's gone on record saying that he really wants to grow this and work every day on this. So it'll be interesting to see how much time Ricky has for all of his endeavors.
They're going to change the name of the track, too. I see they're going to get that watermelon crap out of the name.
Yeah, now it'll just be called the the Cordial Motor Speedway, plain and simple.
Okay.
So, yeah. So there's that. And then also, too, we've got the ASA Stars National Tour, their first race, the Clyde Hart Memorial at New Smyrna Speedway. That is coming up here pretty quick. And Ty Majeski has already entered the race, which is interesting since he had said that he didn't know that he was going to be able to get down there. But they're going. So that kind of opens the door a little bit for him to perhaps try to defend his title. We'll see.
And I will be there for that event.
Yeah, we're going to be there for it, and that's really shaping up to be a pretty strong field of cars. And as far as guys from Wisconsin in this area, Gabe Summers is going down there for that race. I think Austin Nason is as well. And also for the whole week, the World Series week down there, I know Mitch Haver is going to go run as a super late model, and Billy Braun is going to go down and take the pro late model down there for his first trip to New Smyrna. So we'll have some pretty good representatives from up here.
Very nice. When are you guys going down there? A week from Monday, maybe?
The 12th. We head out on the 12th.
We'll leave Monday night, and we'll be there Tuesday for that race. And
yes,
if you've seen the lineup that's coming out there, I mean, there's some pretty heavy hitters coming for that deal. It's going to be a pretty good event.
Also, some super late model news. Cole Butcher, who runs for the Donnie Wilson camp, he and his wife are expecting their first baby in August.
And on a similar tragic note, Mike Wallace's wife died this week at the age of 64. She had a quiet 4-year battle with cancer and died this past week. So our best to the Wallace family also. So they come and they go. The tickets went on sale this week for the fall race here at Phoenix, the championship race. If you have any desire to come out here for the championship race, the ticket they mention they go on sale, and then you'll be surprised to hear, oh, it's sold out before you even. I was going to get tickets to that, and then you don't do it, and then the next thing you know, you're not going. That's my story from last year. So if you want to buy your tickets for the championship race, you want to do it real soon because they went on sale this week, and I was looking at ticket sales, and it's already getting to be they're selling very well. Let's put it that way. So
that's one of the hottest tickets in NASCAR. The Daytona 500. And the championship race. Those are two of the hottest tickets they have. So not surprising that race sells out every year.
The president of Kyle Busch Motorsports, as you know, Kyle Busch Motorsports went out of business. So did his energy drink, Rowdy Energy Drink. He's kind of consolidating things, selling off to trying to think of the name of that outfit. Spire bought Kyle Busch Motorsports. Either way, the president, Mike Verlander of Kyle Busch Motorsports, is now the new chief operating officer for Richard Childress Racing, interestingly enough. That happened this week. I suppose, you're selling everything away. You got to pretty much find yourself a job, and that's what Mr. Mike Verlander did. We're going to take one more break and be back with the final segment of LTN. Hang in there with us.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This Sunday, if the Kansas City Chiefs are going to repeat as Super Bowl champions.
No good! Touchdown Ravens!
Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens stand in their way. The AFC Championship game.
Day in, day out, every time I'm on that field, I'm trying to play to the best of my ability.
We've won pretty much every way you can win in this league.
It's you versus everybody in the stadium.
Kickoff at 2 p.m. on 97.3 The Game.
Welcome back to LTN here on the Big 920. You know how in baseball when there's a close play and they stop playing, the umpires come put the earphones on and then they talk to New York, where you have some guy watching television in New York who's going to make the official call on a play. Well, NASCAR has decided that they're going to have a remote race control room in North Carolina who are going to help the on-track people there. Why is this so different, Brian? It's they're trying to be a little bit more like other sports, but it shouldn't have to be that way, should it?
Doesn't really make any sense because, MLB, NFL, and NBA, they have, 15 to 20 games going on at the same time. NASCAR has just one race. So why do you need to be back in North Carolina when your officials should be in the tower and they should have access to the screen? There's only one race going on. Make the call right there. I don't understand that.
Are they going to have people watching every pit stall so they don't miss any calls kind of thing? I mean, I wanted the same thing, too. I mean, it's done on the other sports for replay purposes, and we don't really have that. In NASCAR, can't really stop the race. What, do you roll a red tire across to make a challenge or something?
Yeah, and the biggest thing is there's just one event going on. So all your people should be at the track so you can make a split-second decision, I mean, the other sports, they said there's multiple games going on. The NBA, they're always going back to Secaucus to see what happened in a certain game. But, yeah, I don't quite get that one.
Those guys don't want to go on the road anymore, Brian. That's all.
That must be what it is.
How about that virtual in Pennsylvania, Brian? We're going to have a virtual flag man.
Yeah, I saw that. Is that the next thing coming?
Yeah, watch. Just put the lights on the flag stand that can be operated from up in the tower. That'll be the next thing.
I mean, I get some of the ideas of that, but there's still something cool about, taking the white flag and then getting the checkered flag from the flag man when the race is over, and I'm just glad that it's not NASCAR that's the one coming out and doing this, that it is a short track, because if NASCAR would have done this, they would have got absolutely torched by the media and everybody else. So this is a short track that's going to try this first, and NASCAR's probably thinking, it's not on us.
There you go. Hey, NASCAR has been testing an EV race car. Did you see this? They several laps were run. I think it was at Martinsville, and they came up and they said, "Yeah, we're really happy with the results. It's within a couple of tenths of what the Cup cars are racing and all that sort of thing." Well, they're going to bring this EV prototype to the Clash next week, and they're going to do several laps with it in a demonstration. Now, get this. The guy at NASCAR, who's obviously a spin doctor, his name is Brandon Thomas. He's the vice president of vehicle design. I didn't even know they had such a thing. He said, quote, "Our fans and our partners want to see it." Just curious, what fans want to see an electric race car exactly, Mr. Brandon Thomas?
Wasn't it the pace car, the electric pace car that had to get towed off of the track at one of the tracks this year?
I love it.
I can't remember what race that was.
Yes, I forgot about it. Oh, isn't that just the most perfect thing could possibly have happened? Well, they're going to run this thing out, do demonstration laps before the actual Clash.
You won't be able to hear it. You won't know when it's out there.
And the people that are talking about noise pollution will probably be real happy with that. So keep that. Hey, by the way, we knew that they came out here to Phoenix to do a test because the short track package wasn't working and all the drivers were banging on NASCAR, give us more horsepower and it'll be just fine. But of course, for one reason or another, NASCAR didn't want to give them more horsepower. Everybody's calling for it. NASCAR thinks they're going to save the team's money. I guess they are, right? By not having as much horsepower. So they're going to do it with aero and try to get the racing better. And what they did was, instead of adding this, they did a downforce thing. They got rid of downforce. It's going to make the cars much looser in the turns, which in turn will make the racing better for the short track package, is what they're telling us. So we'll have to be the judges of that. I don't know how many times you're going to try it before we're going to figure out maybe this is going to work and maybe it isn't. We hope it does.
But, I think it still comes down to, though, I mean, part of the reason on the short tracks is you can't pass the lead car. The guy out front is hard to get around the guy. I mean, if they're all sliding around, okay, I get that. But then you need some horsepower to get by him, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you need to make it a braking game. And the more horsepower you have, the bigger deal that is, and that's all forms of racing. When you can get on the throttle or when you get off the throttle going into the corner and how soon you can get back on it. And that's how you race. And all messing with this aero stuff, I just don't see how this is going to work.
I think NASCAR's trying to keep costs in line. But most of the commentary that I saw said it isn't going to cost any more to give us more horsepower. Well, who are we supposed to believe? The guys that are politicking or, well, they're both politicking. NASCAR, for one reason, we're going to try and save you from yourselves and have you spend less money. You'll be happier in the long run. What about the fans? They like to see good racing, and short track racing isn't as good as it used to be, right?
Right, exactly.
So, unbelievable. Well, thanks to everybody for tuning in. And also, thanks to Dave First. What a character he is from the IndyCar series for coming on with us. We do appreciate it. Don't forget, PJ, the latest issue of Racing Nuggets dropped this week. Eric Heinefeld was your guest, right?
That is correct.
And he's a piece of work. It's fun to watch. I watched it this morning. By the way, you can download the LTN podcast on all major platforms, including iHeart. And don't forget to check it out and download us, and you can listen to us whenever you'd like. In the meantime, we want everybody to remember that real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is Matt Losi. For all of us involved with the program, we appreciate you tuning in. And we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.
It's almost Valentine's Day. Candy lasts only a few days. Flowers last maybe a week. Get your Valentine's the gift that lasts for now and forever from Rogers & Hollins or Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak Jewelers have tons of Valentine's gifts for under $199. Rogers & Hollins and Ashcroft & Oak combine unique custom abilities of independent jewelers with the buying strength of large jewelers, offering shoppers selection, customization, and quality at fabulous prices. Find a store near you or visit rogersandhollins.com.